Hi everyone, Sarah here. So Haley and I recently recorded a podcast based on a post in the Seamwork community forum titled, "Which Sewing Tools Do You Wish That You'd Bought Sooner?" So in this episode, Haley and I share some general tips about finding tools, but we also share our top 3 tools that we wish that we'd started using earlier. So today I wanted to share those 6 types of tools with you guys. Be sure to listen to the full episode of Seamwork Radio on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify or on Stitcher or whatever podcast platform that you like to use. And if you like this, give it a thumbs up and be sure to leave a comment below and let us know.
So I will start us off with my top 3. My first one would be good specific presser feet for my sewing machine. So for years I sewed with various machines that weren't very expensive. They came with some presser feet, but I didn't use them all that much. I used like the zipper foot and the basic ones, but there were a lot of feet that came with it that I didn't even know what they were, when I first started out. And then years ago, I got my first Bernina sewing machine, and the quality of these machines is it's pretty incredible. And they have some really specific presser feet that go with it that just make a lot of things easier and cleaner and more high quality. So once I started learning more about presser feet and getting presser feet that really fit the purpose that I was, for the sewing that I was doing in that moment, that was pretty life changing as far as sewing goes. So that would be my top one. That was something that I didn't get into right away, but I really see the value in now is good presser feet. So, and those Bernina feet are pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I remember once going to Modern Domestic here in Portland, and somebody there was showing me the catalog of all the Bernina feet, how many there are. Oh my goodness, there are so many.
Yeah. I think one thing, like caution with the presser feet is to make sure there's lots of universal, I'm using air quotes, presser feet out there. And that's not to say that that universal foot may work. Maybe it will work for your machine, but it's really a good idea to make sure you're getting one that's specific to your sewing machine, because it can kind of mess with the machine timing and get things out of whack if you're using something that's not specific to your machine. So, little cautionary note there, specific to your sewing machine. But Bernina just has it's really, Bernina machines are beautiful, but really a good reason to buy one if it's in your budget is those presser feet. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So nice.
Yeah. And I know we're talking up Bernina a lot. We both really love Bernina machines, but there are lots of other high quality machines that also have high quality presser feet as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's something to think about when you're buying a machine is, what kind of feet you can get for it.
I love Bernina, but at home I have an old Kenmore. So lots of good machines out there besides Bernina, but we do love Bernina.
Yeah. And then my next tool that I didn't get right away and that I wish I'd bought sooner is a clapper. So if you don't know what a clapper is, it's a tool that you use in pressing, and it helps you to basically press down a seam without using the heat of the iron. So you can basically take your iron and press down to apply heat and steam, but you can't press the iron down into your fabric for that long without burning your fabric. So you can take it off and put the clapper on there and press down with the clapper while the heat and the steam are still trapped beneath it. And that will help you to get a really nice crisp seam, especially on things that are maybe like a bulkier fabric that might be hard to press down completely, really quickly. So a clapper helps a lot with that. And I just love it. It's a really simple tool, just basically a piece of wood.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's like the same idea as like when you curl your hair with a curling iron and you hold the curl after it comes off the curling iron so that it cools down and stays better. Same idea with the clapper, is it allows the heat to disperse, gives you a longer lasting, nicer seam. Such a good tool.
Yeah.
Pressing tools in general, though. I know that's your jam.
Yeah. I love pressing tools. I think the whole experience of pressing while you're sewing can be really underrated. I think it can really make a big difference in what your garment looks like when you're done. So I'm real into pressing, and you don't need to buy a lot of fancy tools. Most of the pressing tools are really pretty simple, like a clapper, a seam roll, things like that. They're just very simple things that make a big difference, and they're not expensive either. So that's something that I love and recommend. And then my third specific tool, I don't know if this is a tool or notion or what you would call it, but this is something that I've been singing the praises of for many, many years because I love it so much, which is spray stabilizer. And so spray stabilizer is it's kind of like starch. So it comes in a can and you spray it on your fabric and it makes the fabric kind of crisp like a piece of paper. So if you're sewing something that is not stable, like maybe a silk that's really slippery, you can spray this on there and then it becomes just a lot more crisp and stable and much, much easier to sew. And then you can wash it out. So the caveat to that is that you have to wash it out. And so it has to be a fabric that you're willing to wash. And so if you wanted to dry clean your silk, you didn't want it to have that washed look and feel, then you would not want to use spray stabilizer. But most times when I sew with silk, I'm going to hand wash it anyway. So I will just pre-wash it, hand wash it, use the spray stabilizer, and then wash it again when I'm done. And it just makes sewing with those kinds of fabrics so much easier. It doesn't build up on your iron. It's a great product, and you can find it at a lot of craft stores. Our local sewing stores carry it. The brand that I've always used is Sullivan's spray stabilizer, so you can look that up online too.
I just ordered some of it for a slip dress I'm making.
Yeah, I it's like one of my favorite things ever. My favorite tips ever when it comes to sewing.
Yeah, it truly is Sari's number one sewing tip, I feel like.
Yeah. It is. I love sewing with silk. I really like silk, and it, as we all know, it can be a pain to sew. So anything that makes that easier.
Oh yeah.
What about you, Haley? What are your top 3?
Okay, well, this was hard because I do love a good sewing tool, but number one for me has to be a rotary cutter, more just like a rotary cutter setup, a mat and a rotary cutter. I hate sewing. I think a lot of people hate, or not hate sewing. Oh God.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Haley hates sewing. The truth comes out.
No, I hate cutting. I love sewing. I hate cutting. It's my least favorite part of oh my gosh. Of the sewing process. Sewing muslins, I think it's fine. Fitting, I like it. But something about cutting just feels like this obstacle. And as soon as I upgraded my cutting setup to a rotary cutter and a mat, I feel like it just changed my life so much faster, so much easier. I personally feel like I can get, once I got over the learning curve, a lot more precision. And so that's my number one thing that I would recommend to anyone who hates cutting, not sewing, but cutting, like me. Maybe consider a rotary cutter, or at the very least, some better shears for cutting with.
Yeah.
I think that number 2 would have to be a magnetic pincushion because I'm a very fast sewer and I need something to catch my pins for me, or else they're going to end up like in my hair, on the floor. My toddler's going to be running around with them. So magnetic pincushion definitely saves me a lot of cleanup after I'm done sewing.
I love them. I think they're so handy.
I just want to like throw my pins in the general direction of the receptacle and know that like physics will take care of the rest for me.
Yeah, I've tried a lot of different pin keeping solutions. I've tried like the wrist pin cushions and all different kinds, and I think magnetic is definitely the way to go.
It is the way to go, for sure, in my opinion. And then lastly, I love wash away adhesive tapes. I didn't discover this stuff until I'd been sewing for maybe like 10 years, but for me, it's changed the way I install zippers, especially things like zipper flies. Oh my gosh, if you
Mm.
don't have to pin that stuff, if you can just tape it down and go, a huge
Yeah.
difference, totally life changing. I know that Taylor, um, she uses it for buttons.
Hmm.
Before she sews her buttons on, she just tapes them down with
That's
some
so
adhesive tape.
smart.
Isn't that so clever? So she told me that. Now I do that too. Just one more reason to love wash away adhesive tape. And if you haven't used it before, it comes on like a little roll, and there's paper that you peel away, and it's this double-sided adhesive tape. Um, and you can sew it like right into your garment, and then when you wash it, it'll wash right out. Kind of like the spray stabilizer. I guess there is the caveat of that
Hmm.
you have to, I suppose, wash it out at some point, but um, that's never been like an issue for me. Usually I feel like I use it on like pants or jackets and things like that. So um, those guys get washed. And usually it's
Yeah.
hidden away places. You don't even have to wash it before you wear it. No one's going to know that tape's in there but you.
Yeah. That's really smart. I've used actual like tape to
Hmm.
tape in zippers in the past,
Hmm.
and I have never actually used wash away adhesive tape to do that, but that is so smart. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, especially um, lapped and centered zippers. It makes, I mean, I sew mostly invisible zippers unless I'm sewing a fly these days, but you
Hmm.
can make like the cleanest centered and lapped zippers with wash away tape. Amazing. We should make a YouTube video about that.
Yeah, we should. And spray stabilizer. Here are
Yeah.
all the adhesive things you can use. That's a great tip. I love that.